Streetbeefs family, what it is y'all face with ya. I'm here with my son, man in the mirror, Elijah. Now, I wanted to bring him on. You know, Elijah has now fought in the yard, what, 15 times?
No, I fought 9 times with 15 overall.
Oh, your amateur fights. Oh, so he's had 15 total fights, some amateur fights, and some in the yard. 9 in the yard. So, wanted to bring him on. First, I want to say this, and guys, listen. The murder of Showtime impacted me deeply. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this glare to stop. I just can't voice to y'all, you know, again, I don't want to belittle anybody else's passing. It hurts me every time one of our fighters passes away or is killed. But I told you the reasons why it impacted me so deeply with Showtime. And for that reason, hold on, damn it. Guys, I'm sorry. There we go. So, for that reason, I have permanently changed the name of the Streetbeefs yard from Satan's Backyard to the Showtime Yard. A lot of people, well, not a lot, but there were some comments like, man, you know, I know you love Showtime, but Satan's Backyard is iconic. I get that, y'all. I do. I get that. But to me, this is the way, this man, and I'm going to speak more on this next coming event, but he gave a lot to Streetbeefs. He gave his heart and soul. And we can give something back to him. And that's a way to give something permanent to him. I'm going to be, I hadn't planned on fighting in the yard again for a while. But I am doing a fight with Maluko on the April or the May 6th event in honor of Showtime. And I'm going to speak more on that when the fight happens. You actually boxed Maluko before. He's a tough dude. Mm-hmm. So in your fights in the yard, you fought amateur and you fought in Streetbeefs. Is there any differences, or do you just look at all the same?
I see it all as the same. It's a match. A match is a match, in my opinion.
That's it. I know that's right.
All my opponents are the same to me.
So, I started training you when you were, what, about 13, 12, 13?
Something like that.
And you've always, as long as I can remember, you've had a tough guy mentality. You used to come home from school getting in fights and stuff, which I don't recommend. Was always nasty, a hard hitter in football, etc. What is it that you like about boxing, though?
I see it as such a mental sport over everything. Everybody thinks it's a physical sport, but once you really get into it, it's like a little chess game. You really got to think.
That's right. That's right. And I described it once as like a violent game of chess, and I think that's a good way to describe it. Who's your favorite boxer right now?
Triple G.
Okay, Triple G.
He's such a technical fighter.
And he's got a little bit of oomph on his punches, too.
But he's not as physical.
Right.
I kind of fight like that.
Right. And I love Triple G, too. So now I got to ask you, him and Canelo fought a couple of times, and there were some controversial decisions. Do you think the draw was a good call in their one fight?
Well, after I look back at it a couple times, I do see it as a draw. It was such a close match, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
I could look back on it again. I only watched it twice.
Now, you came up in my household, so I know you kind of favor boxing over MMA. But do you watch any MMA?
Oh, I do. I watch UFC, one championship, or
Who's your favorite MMA fighter?
That's a hard choice, but right now, Sean O'Malley. He's got such a great personality. I love it.
Sean O'Malley. Yeah, he's a character too, man. Gotcha. So, I'll ask you 2 more tough questions. Who was your toughest fight ever so far?
Toughest fight ever? That's a hard question, you know?
Well, okay, so if you were just going off the top of your head, give 1 or 2 of your opponents a shout out, who would you think of?
I would give my most recent opponent a shout out, Gentleman Jeff.
Yeah.
And then Arusaki, I think that's his name.
Yep.
The dark skin with the little hoodie
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
They usually
Yep.
good.
He can fight.
Them little hard hitters, they tough.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So you've never been down, period. So far in none of your fights.
I've never been knocked down in my career. I've never had a little stoppage like that.
Good man. That's a tough chin. I think old Dad's the only one that's ever clipped you that's in sparring.
Yeah.
You ain't never been down in sparring other than that, though.
It's nothing like that, nah. It's very rare when it happens.
Well, you keep that chin, you got to keep training. So,
For sure.
is there anything you're doing on social media? What's your Instagram?
Instagram is MITM. That's the initials for my fight name, Man in the Mirror, and then boxing.
So, last thing, we don't get nowhere without the fans. You ain't got fans in this, you might as well just quit. So give a little love to the fans, and we're going to call it, y'all.
All the fans that watch it, I love y'all.
Hey, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for the years of support. Support my son, Man in the Mirror. This coming event, May 6th, I'm fighting. My son, Justice, his brother, is fighting.
I might fight, I don't know.
And he might, that motherfucker gonna fight. We'll see y'all then. Shout out to everybody. We love you. Showtime, rest in peace. All of our guys that we recently lost, rest in peace. We love y'all. I know you're looking down from heaven. Peace.